Festive season that starts with Christmas Day tomorrow. But first, let's take a look at the international news. Singer and actress Sophia Carson closes 2024 with her first action film role and a duet with the holiday classic White Christmas with Andrea Bocelli. Carson reflected on her bicultural roots and humanitarian work to VOA's Veronica Villafane.
Actress Sophia Carson steps into the action genre in the new film Carry On. She plays Nora Parisi, a director of operations at Los Angeles International Airport who is caught in a Christmas Eve terrorist plot. The Netflix film shot to #1 globally in its debut week.
I had always wanted to do an action movie, and when I read the short description of what this film was, I was immediately hooked and so drawn to it, especially because I love female characters in action films, especially when they're not damsels in distresses. I love being able to tell more stories like that. And Nora Parisi, even though her life is at risk the whole film, she is never once a damsel in distress. In a way, she saves herself.
Carson was born in the United States, but both of her parents came to the U.S. from Colombia, and she is deeply connected to her Latino heritage.
I am bilingual and bicultural, and I think that has informed so much who I am as an artist. The music that I listened to growing up was Elvis Presley, or it was Mocedades, San Mecano, and Alejandro Sanz, Ricardo Arjona.
A multi-platinum recording artist whose songs have more than 2 billion streams, Carson is focused on pursuing her passions while taking greater creative control. She added executive producer to her resume with the hit film Purple Hearts, one of Netflix's most watched movies in 2022, and she plans to expand her behind-the-scenes role further.
I loved producing. I loved being a part of the decision-making table that kind of brings to life the world that is a movie, and I had an extraordinary time doing that with Purple Hearts and bringing Cassie to life. I just executive produced a film this year as well called My Oxford Year, which will be on Netflix next year.
Of all her roles, the one she considers most important is serving as UNICEF ambassador since 2020, using her voice and platform to champion gender equality, education, and the empowerment of young girls. This year, Carson also recorded her first Christmas song, the holiday classic White Christmas.
My first one with none other than the legend Andrea Bocelli, and it's been one of the greatest honors of my life to sing with him, and it was my dream as a little girl.
Carson capped another successful year by performing the duet for the CBS holiday special, Christmas with Andrea Bocelli and Friends, and looks ahead to an even brighter 2025. Veronica Villafane, VOA News.
Thank you, Veronica. In Zimbabwe, the World Food Programme says the South African nation may be plunged into another drought while it is still struggling to feed almost 8 million people who are currently entirely dependent on food handout due to the El Nino-induced dry spell that caused widespread crop failure in southern Africa and beyond. VOA's Ivan Zininga reports.
The World Food Programme warning comes at a time when insignificant rains have fallen in most parts of the country, where some bone-dry regions have been reduced into dust bowls. 75-year-old grandmother Chipiwa Masunda, who lined up to receive food at a relief aid distribution event recently in Masvingo's Chiwi district, says her family is being forced to skip meals in order to preserve the little food they have.
We now eat a very small meal a day because we do not have much left. Our lives have become very difficult. We are hereby seeking help from the government to help us to survive. Our cattle, goats and donkeys are all finished. There is nothing else we can sell to survive.
Speaking to journalists at the event, World Food Programme Country Director Barbara Clemens said there is need for strong resource mobilization in order to meet the needs of hungry Zimbabweans.
And you can see the ground in front of us is bone dry. and where there should be more rain. So not only are there effects of the El Nino, but what will come after the El Nino. Already we are challenged to provide or to receive the monetary resources that we had hoped. We need to continue telling this message from the perspective that it wasn't enough.
Local farmer Ratidzo Makushe says several attempts to plant some crops since November failed due to lack of rains.
For many years now, we have little rains. We are facing serious hunger. We planted with the first rains, but nothing came up. We planted with the second rains, nothing came up, and we even planted for the third time. We have tried everything we can with the little inputs we received from government. There is nothing for us this season.
Minister of State for Masvingo, Ezra Chadzamira, says government's partnership with WFP is crucial as the country faces severe hunger.
The collaboration between the government and WFP is crucial this time around when the country is facing food security hardships because of the El Nino-induced drought that has ravaged the whole southern African region.
Zimbabwe, which declared drought a national state of emergency this year, says at least 7.7 million people are food insecure and will need relief aid until March next year. The El Nino-induced drought has also devastated Malawi, Zambia, and other nations in the southern African region. Zimbabwe has made an international humanitarian appeal of $3.2 billion in an effort to feed hungry citizens. Early predictions from Zimbabwe's Meteorological Services Department pointed to normal rainfall in the 2024-25 farming season, but the situation looks bleak as most regions have recorded below normal rains. Evans Azininga, VOA News, Washington, D.C.
Thank you there, Evans. Back to our main topic. Zimbabweans living and working in various nations are arriving in large numbers for the festive season, a time to relax with their family and friends. Normally, some Zimbabweans visit their rural homelands to reconnect with the past where they slaughter goats and cattle for festivities, largely characterized by tea parties, beer drinking, and dancing to the current and past popular songs. Others go to church to seek spiritual guidance or thank the Lord for all the blessings in their daily life. Zimbabwean police are also ready for the big holiday. Police spokesperson Commissioner Paul Nyati speaks about this and other issues.
Mapurisa vakazvimirira kuita basa ravo semazuva ese. Tichange tine maroadblock, tichange tine mapatrol, uyezve tikukudzira vatyairi kuti vasafambe vakadhakwa. Uyezve kune vamwe vanoti motikari dzikafa vodzisiya dzakapakwa mumigwagwa zvokonzera tsaona. Tokuti motikari ifaniri kuti kana yafa yosiyiwa mumugwagwa kwenguva hombe kusvikira yakonzesa tsaona. Zvatiri kuona zviri kuitika mazuva mashomanana angopfuura. Kwozoita kune vamwe vanofamba vakarembera padzimotikari, mitemo haubvumiri. Kwozoitawo zvekare kuzadza motikari nevanhu kana kuti nemwe midziyo zvokonzera tsaona zvekare. Saka toda kuti munhu wese ave nechekuita pakufamba mumugwagwa kuitira kuti zvirerutse basa rekuchengetedza mutemo uyezve zvichengetedze upenyu. Ndizvozvo tiri kubatana nevetraffic council nemamwe mapazi ehurumende patiri kukurudzira varidzi vemombe, vembudzi, vemadhongi kuti vateedzere mutemo, vaone kuti zvipfuyo zvinovharirwa, zvipfuyo zvinochengetedzwa kuitira kuti zvisakonzere tsaona. Toona vanhu vachikuwara, toona vanhu vachifa. Saka inyaya hombe iyoyo yatiri kubatana nayo pazoro rimwe. Ndosatiri kuti munhu wese ane chekuita pakudzivirira tsaona, ane chekuita pakuchengetedza upenyu pazore rineri. Kune dzimotikari dzinotakura veruzhinji, dzinotakura mhuri dzemakambani nevanhuwo zvavo vanenge vachifamba netsoka kana kuti varidzi vezvipfuyo. Tiri kusunga hakuna munhu ari pamusoro pemutemo, kunyange mupurisa, kunyange munhu asiri mupurisa anenge apara mhosva yake yecorruption, tinongomuranga sezvinongoita mutemo wese wenyika. Saka tobati veruzhinji vamhanga kana paine mupurisa ari tora choko muhomwe kana paine veruzhinji vari kufamba vachitora choko muhomwe tizvione izvozvo kuti mutemo waita basa ravo.
That there was the National Police spokesperson, Commissioner Paul Nyati, speaking to Studio 7's Jonga Kande Miri. Some Zimbabweans in the diaspora, especially those in neighboring countries, are returning home to spend time with their families. A Zimbabwean man, Mr. Busani Moyo, who is based in Botswana, tells Studio 7 a large number of people are returning home for the festive season.
Kunjani lapha endleleni lapha usukwafika eBoda?
Hayi eBoda isiphithiphithi, eBoda isiphithiphithi kugcwele okuzwayo. Omunye ungathi abangapha lebonani. Asikwazi ukuthi namhlanje nje bona kwe-24 hours enceke yabanganingi.
Abantu manje bona bathini ngodaba lolu kakhulu eBoda lapha abaningi bakhala ngothi iBoda kuyaphuza kulokho.
Hayi problem ukuthi hey this time eBoda kungani ku street. Laba bomthetho bona bangangale kwakhona yibo abangani hey bathe eBoda abantu badlalela ngeBoda. So into zonke isaka liyamisa isaka kuthe hayi yenzani into eziqondileyo sifuna izinto ezistraight kulezi suku. Lokho lapho udlula nje hathi asisoze likwenze this time ku street.
That there was Busani Moyo, a Zimbabwean man based in Botswana, speaking to Studio 7's Mkondi Sidube. Another Zimbabwean based in South Africa, Mr. Bongani Halimana, says he's looking forward to spending Christmas with his family in Zimbabwe.
Umnyaka esikuwo 2024 has been a very difficult year. Economically, it has been a very, very difficult year. Umnyaka lobunzima kakhulu lokho I can repeat that ukuthi beunzima lomnyaka economically, and I situation ibuye yenziwa yaba worse ngendaba ze migration. Abantu bakithi abaningi especially South Africa basebenza bengena proper documentation, meaning ukuthi ngesikhathi Home Affairs ne Department of Labor senza ama operations azo ebeziwenza kulomnyaka, abantu bakithi abaningi bazithole sebe affected ngoba beku radio emsebenzini. Sinanzela ukuthi abantu bakithi abaningi baphelelwe imisebenzi, bahlele emakhaya abasebenzi, abanye sebesebenzile in those various companies for several years, abanye over 10 years, abanye 15 years, but batholakala ukuthi amaphepha bengalawo, baboshiwe bafika 3 months mase sephuma lo muntu akasela umsebenzi. Lokhu kusho ukuthi generally efamilini lezi ezilabantu laba abangena ezigabeni njengazona lezo abangeke bazithola besiba lokhisimuso omuhle lonyaka.
That was Bongani Malihmana, a Zimbabwean based in South Africa. Please stay tuned as we take a short break. We'll be right back.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depends on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
For those that have just joined us, please note that we are streaming live on all our Facebook pages, VOA Shona, VOA Studio 7, and VOA Ndebele. We're also live on YouTube at VOA Zimbabwe. Joining us live to discuss the festive season challenges, we have Mr. Masimba Mavaza of ZANU-PF based in the United Kingdom, Amai Evernice Munando of the Female Students Network Trust Zimbabwe based in Harare, and Dennis Juru of the International Cross-Border Traders Association based in South Africa. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you and welcome. Thank you. Welcome now.
Thank you. I'll start off with you, Mr. Mavaza. Some Zimbabweans are crying foul, saying this Christmas will be bleak as food prices have gone up and they are unable to travel to their rural homes due to high transport costs. What's your take on this?
I think every Christmas, in everywhere in the world, the commodities go slightly a bit high. Yes, in Zimbabwe, economically, people have been struggling, and people have been suffering, and people have not done their savings very well, and others have, but it's not enough to save. And we do appreciate, yes, it is difficult this year, and it's quite one of the most difficult Christmases we ever had. But those who had wanted to be home, they are home. And those who wanted to be with their families, they are with their families. Because the Christmas is a time for families to be together, time to break from our hustles, our work, and everything else. But indeed, throughout the world, everywhere else, people are actually complaining that the economy has gone so tough for everybody, regardless of being Zimbabwean or not. And indeed, this Christmas, we are going to celebrate, but it won't be the same as we used to do when bread was £1 or $2 or $1 or $1 or 50 cents. But yes, we will get there, and it is difficult for everybody. And we wish every Zimbabwean a Merry Christmas. It might be tough, but the toughest thing is it can be overcome by the zeal we have to live and zeal to please our families.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Amai Munando. What is the situation like on the ground? You are right there in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would want to concur with the previous speaker that, it's very disheartening to learn that most of the people, they are failing to travel to have Christmas with their relatives, especially in the rural areas, because of the high transport fees. And it did not start only on Christmas. I think it started last week when even locally, you might be traveling from Harare to Shtunguza. They also charge an exorbitant fee. I don't know why, because the fuel the fuel price is not risen. So these transporters, they are really doing this for their own benefit without also considering that the economy in Zimbabwe currently is really very bad, to the extent that not everyone is privileged to really have some money to travel. And it's also very sad because as we also work with students, this is the time that they are also going to visit their homes. They are now on vacation. Most universities, most colleges have shut down for Christmas and for holidays. They want to go back to their homes, especially those traveling from other cities, to other cities. They could not manage to do that because the fees, the transport fees has been risen without any notice. And we have seen so many people struggling, queuing, and also the police are on the road to really make sure that those undesignated areas where they pick up and dropping up points, the transporters will not have access to passengers right there. So it's only designated areas. And I can imagine, just to give an example, from town to showground. You can travel from town to showground. You're wanting to board buses to go for Blawayo, Kwekwe, Gweru, but at the showground, again, the police are also there, we're trying to avoid passengers to hike. So we are forced to go to Mbare and also to other designated areas in town. So even if you want to go to town, the prices are they're ranging from $1 to $1.50. $2 if you are so desperate. And from those who are coming from Chituza, the drop-off point has become the Coca-Cola. Can you imagine? You are also going to finish the journey by foot, going to town. And if you want to go to showground, it's something else. If you are also talking about transport. So the situation in Marvelous is too bad. And I've seen so many faces because this is the time that we also rejoin our families and, we celebrate Christmas together. But I think it has been prohibited because of these sectors that I've highlighted.
Thank you very much there. Please stay on the line. Coming to you, Mr. Juru, what kind of reports are you getting from those traveling to Zimbabwe that are at the borders?
Good evening, Marvelous. Good evening to colleagues. Good evening to your listeners and viewers. Marvelous, to be honest, I think this is the most difficult Christmas I ever witnessed.
Why do you say that?
Statistics. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm saying, why would you say it's the most difficult Christmas?
Yes, considering the statistics, Marvelous, I can assure you that there are no people moving from, especially, you know, that South Africa is the most frequent, country where Zimbabweans usually go and come back. The border is empty right now as we speak. The border is empty. Usually on the 23rd, 24th, queues are, running from the border to Messina. But as I speak to you right now, you can take a photograph of a building in Messina standing at the border if there are no trees. There's no traffic. If you look at Forbes border post, there's nothing. If you look at Nyamapanda border post, there's nothing. I don't know whether people are scared of action which was initially taken by Zimbabwe to limit the movement of goods at the beginning of the festive season, where buses would travel without trailers. And I think that move scared people, and people didn't move. And at the same time, the CID from Zimbabwean side, they are requesting a new document which they never informed people to say, come festive season, you need to bring a police clearance. People are being turned back, and if you don't get that police clearance, it's something new. If you are a visitor, to bring a police clearance, even when the car is in your name. So, to be honest with you, the roads are clear. There's nothing there. There's no traffic. The officials are just free. So, the people who are moving, the numbers which have gone are the numbers of people who went to Europe, like drivers who are in Poland and other European countries. Those are the drivers who are making their way to Zimbabwe just because of their tachographs which are expired. But otherwise, within SADC region, there are few movements of Zimbabweans coming back home.
Thank you so much. Todzoka kwamuri vamavaza. Ikoko kwamuri kuBritain, zvizvarwa zveZimbabwe zvinosangana here panguva yekisimusi, kana kuti zvakamira sei, kana kuti munotongotamba muchitamba nevari kuZimbabwe?
Nguva yeChristmas kana tinge tiri kunze kwenyika inguva inobatanidza vana veZimbabwe. Kunyange musina ukama, kune mitambo inoitwa yakasiyana siyana. Zuro uno kwaane mitambo yakaunganidza vana vese veZimbabwe, but vanokwanisa kuuya. Tanga takaungana kuLondon, vanhu vachiuyawo tikarara mumahotera tichingoimba nekupembera. Iko zvezvi mudzimba vanhu vari kukokana hama nehama, shamwari neshamwari. Kunenge kune mabiko akasiyana siyana mukati medzimba, vanhu vachingoya tichizongosangana. Takanakira kugara kure sekuno kana kunze kwenyika ndechekuti munhu wese ane rukanda runenge rwako, anotaura rurimi rwako, munenge matova neukama. Mukazongobatana pamutupo matova hama dzepedyo. Saka mazuva akaita seChristmas aya mazuva anovaka ukama nehama dzakasiyana siyana dzatanga tisina ukama nadzo, asi ko zvino tinenge tatoswedera pedyo nemumwe nemumwe nekuda kwezororo reChristmas.
Asi kumusha muri vamavaza, asi kumusha munenge muchitumirawo here zvikafu kana zvimwe zvakadaro, zvinofamba sei?
Zvagara kana mazuva ose kuti even isiri Christmas, mari dzinotumira kune vane vabereki vari kumusha, mari inotumira kuvabereki. Kune vazhinji vari kuno vane mabhizinisi ari kumusha. Kutaura kuno taitarisa hedu nezuro muzvinyorwa zvevanhu vanenge vafamba, kune vanhu vanopfuura 24,000 vakafamba mwedzi uno woga kuenda kuAfrica for Christmas. Apa kutaura vanhu vanenge vari kuenda kumusha, zvakaita kuZimbabwe neSouthern Africa. Saka kune vazhinji vari kuita zororo vari kumusha. nga vazhinji vakaenda kumusha but kune vamwe vasingakwanisi kufamba nekuda kwekuti mari dzacho dzakawandisa uyezve mabasa acho ari kuvarambidza ndo vanenge vari kusara vakaungana vachiita mitambo kuno nekuno. Asi tikatarisa kune kunotumirwa mari kuenda kumusha vakazarisa vanhu vari kutumira mari mari dzedzimwe dzaakunonoka kusvika nekuti dzawandirwa. Kunotumirwa zvikafu zvekuenda kumusha vaitotaura nezulo kuti havachatora zvikafu kusvika krismas yapera nekuti vakawandirwa nekukunogovera chikafu chavapiwa kuno. Saka zvinofadza kuti vazhinji vari kuno havana kuita gotsi rutsito, havana kuita gotsi papata, vakaramba vachitondera mhuri dzavo vari kudzichengeta. Uyezve chinongogumburawo ndechekuti kune dzimwe hama dzacho dziri kumusha kana dzichinge dzatambira mari kana chikafu dzinongoita kudya madiro ajojina havachaziva kuti iziya nedikita nemumwe munhu anzwa nekupopoterwa nemari iyo yekubasa kwaanenge ari kunze kwenyika. Nekuti kazhinji vanhu vanenge vari kumusha vazhinji vanongofunga kuti kana uchinge uri kuSouth Africa kana kuti kuBritain kana kuAmerica mari inongomera pasi pemumango. Aiwa zvakasiyana, vanhu vari kunze kwenyika vari kushanda havana zuva havana zororo. Saka iri ndokwega vanenge havana zororo, vanenge vana kamari kadiki diki avanotumira kumusha. Asi kune vamwe vanhu vasiri kutomboona kunge mari iya iri kubatsira vanotoishora, vanotoita kasikimani. Vamwe vamwe havatotenda, mumwe akakumbira mari ukamutumira hauzodwa kwaari futi, unozongoona patsamba yanyorwa nevanhu vaendesa mari kuti mari yasvika.
Aiwa, tazvinzwa.
Basa museyamwa hazvaitika. Saka tadzidza zvakawanda mazuva ezororayo.
Aiwa, tinotenda vamavaza. Regai tiende kuna amai Munando mobva mangoisa muchivharisa kuti kwakamira sei, imi muchange muri kudya Krismasi zvakamira sei, uyezve manzwa zviri kutaurwa navamavaza ndizvo here zviri kuitika?
Ndinoona sekuti ndinobvumirana navo nenyaya yekuti tinoona zvizhinji vanhu vachidhakwa, vachinwa tumadoro tuya, vanhu vachibvambura mari. Tinoona maactivities akadaro achiitika zvakanyanya. Asi ndegai nditi kune mhuriwo dzinoappreciata mari idzo dzekuva vachiitawo zvinhu zvine musoro, vamwe vakutogadzirirawo maschool fees. Asi chandinoona ndechekuti pazoro rekrismasi vanhu vanowanzo kufarisa, vanokanganwa chizonozo kukanganwa kuti January achasvika vana vada kudzokera kuchikoro, pane zvinoda kutengwa. Ndo pamunozoona vanhu vachichema vachingoramba vachingosimbisa nyaya yekuti kune January disease, nenyaya yekuti havakoshesi hama dzedu idzodzizi dzinoshumira mari kubva kunze kwenyika, sezvo vari kutaura kuti vanenge vachitoshingairira mari idzodzo. Saka vanhu vanoda ungwaru hwekuziva kuti mari inopfuura, inoda kurongerwa. Chinonetsvisa ndechekuti Marvelous panguva ine Christmas zvinhu zvose zvinenge zvakakwira, vana nyama ikoko kwavanoda kuenda kunogocha nekudii. Zvinhu izvozvo dzinotokwidza mapuraizi kuti vatore mari idzodzo fungako. Saka vanhu havazviongorori nekuziva kuti aiwa izuva rimwe chete rinongodarika iri yaitachengetedza mari azoona kubatsirikana kwamangwana.
Aiwa, tinotenda. Regai tichinzwa kubva kuna vaJuru. Your last word, vaJuru.
Yeah, my last word is as important as this day in future, Sister Marvelous, please try to bring people who are very, very important to your program. Zvekuti munoonza vanhu vezanu kuti hatisina time yekuti titaure tiudze vanhu kuvaudza kuti vafambe sei vave safe. Ini maunza vana mavaza hapana vanhu zvavari kuzotaura pamusoro pesafety yevanhu. In future unzai vapewo mukana wavo panguva yemaelections.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Juru. Aiwa, this week yese tinenge tiinemi, don't worry. Munodzoka zvakare paprogram yamangwana, saka nhasi tachida kungoti bate kwese. So thank you to all our guests, Masimba Mavaza of ZANU-PF based in the United Kingdom, Evanice Munando of the Female Students Network Trust Zimbabwe based in Harare, and Dennis Juru of the International Cross-Border Traders Association based in South Africa. That brings us to the end of our show. Signing off in Washington, I'm Marvelous Mhlanganya Huye.